Hello, 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 and welcome back to the GTD Podcast. I'm the Norix. I speak for the podcast, and we're here. Which makes sense. It makes sense that we're here. You know, you're starting the year off in the right direction. No weird delays.
Yeah.
As of yet. Probably shouldn't keep bringing attention to it because at some point it's just going to backfire on me incredibly. But yes, we're back once again with our usual hosts, as is Matthew and Devin.
Hello.
Yes. I'm glad that both of you are great at giving hellos.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Hi. I had to sneeze right as
am
right
human.
as you said that. So.
I'd
you
like
had to
to
sneeze.
introduce myself. Hello. Yes.
Yep. Did you already say you're the Norax?
What? Yes. We've already gotten
good.
past that point. Come on, man.
No, like I thought I heard you say it, but I couldn't remember. So.
Yes.
Confusion.
Are you on the podcast?
Yeah, I'm on the podcast.
Well, except no delays except for the one we had this morning, but that doesn't matter. Anyways, we have several things coming up in the show. We'll be discussing what we've been doing this week, which is the usual thing that we do. Then we'll be moving on to trailers, which we have 3 trailers we're going to be talking about today. One for the new Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga game reveal trailer / announcement date thing, as well as Backbone and Songs of Glimmerwick, which are both interesting pixely games. On top of that, then we'll be moving on to host topics, which we probably won't have any because that's how it works for some reason. Then moving on to news, and there's a lot to cover. Well, it's a big topic within the last week or so. We'll be talking about the Microsoft buyout of Activision Blizzard, as well as all of the complications that come with that.
Dang. Okay.
And we'll also be talking about like just all of the complications and weird stuff that happened because of that buyout. And we'll also take a look at a smaller story which involves TT Games. You know, the developers behind the Lego Star Wars franchise. Well, the Lego game franchise, specifically the Star Wars franchise, and their apparent working condition problem, which is fun. Talk about their game and then talk about their company, you know, as you do.
Yeah.
Then moving on to shameless promotion at the end of the show. So without further ado, let's just get right into this before we get off track. Anyways, Matthew, what have you been doing this week?
I have been working on rebuilding a Pokemon game because the original file corrupted. So I still have all the maps and stuff, but it won't compile any data for some reason. I don't have any explanation as to why, but it won't, so it's kind of useless.
I see.
So I'm basically remaking everything. The maps are gonna be different looking, but that's not important. I've also changed a couple things that I'm using that I was wanting to use for the original. I don't actually think I played through Pokemon Emerald.
Really? All of it?
Well, because I wanted to do. So I didn't use our cartridge. I downloaded an emulator under ROM. Very carefully.
Makes sense.
I've got viruses on one computer by accident through downloading stuff. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, it's not fun. or helpful.
Yes, learn from mistakes of the past. Don't repeat them.
Mm-hmm.
So I played through that because of fast forward. Played through that pretty quickly. But I put a little restriction because I was playing through it just to get used to the game again, see what it was like before I do like a Nuzlocke
right
on like live or something.
Okay.
So the restriction I put in for this was the first 3 Pokemon I catch who aren't HM slaves I can use only. So my team was was Swampert, Gardevoir, and Mightyena.
Uh-huh. It's not a horrible team.
Mightyena was the weakest link.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And I was like 4 levels under when I went up against the champion. So, because I forgot how high level they were. I was like, oh, right, they're higher level, aren't they? There's like a level spike here.
Yeah.
But here's how I beat Wallace. I used Hypnosis on his Wailord, put it to sleep, and then used Calm Mind like 5 times and swept his team with a Gardevoir.
Mm-hmm.
A really fair fight, I know.
Right.
Depends how you define fair, though.
Well, it's fair for you, now isn't it?
Well, I only had 3 Pokemon.
Exactly.
What else was I supposed to do? My other 2 were a Swampert and a Mightyena, not very good against water types.
No.
I had Thunderbolt. Yeah, that was my one good move. Against the water types. And Psychic, but that not as helpful against most of them.
Right.
And yeah, I basically just Thunderbolted his whole team, so.
Well, that sounds like a fun time.
It was. I sped run it in one day.
You must have had that thing on a really fucking fast forward.
Yeah, times 7 speed, but still.
Jeez.
I didn't do it higher because it kept breaking. Like, it kept slowing back down for some reason. I
Well,
didn't need it
yeah,
higher,
that's
though.
probably because you were hitting an overflow error.
Yeah, I didn't need it to be higher, though.
I'd imagine not, considering
Yeah, times 7 speed is far fast enough.
the game's real long.
Yeah, 30 hours, roughly.
Uh-huh.
Like, that game's 30 to 40.
I-
And the time breaks when you're using an emulator, so it just kind of makes it look like more hours than it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every minute is equal to like a few seconds at times 7 speed. So, yeah.
Right.
Doesn't take long to get up to like 72 hours. on the
No,
game
I'd
time.
imagine not.
It's not
considering-
accurate either.
No. I don't know.
It still took me like 8 hours. Not 8 hours, like 5 hours.
I mean, sure, but like, it's a whole Pokemon game
Yeah, in 5 hours.
in a day. So, you know.
I was also kind of mostly over leveled for it because I was keeping my Pokemon at around the same level, and I forgot how high level the teams were.
I see.
Yeah, none of the gyms proved much of a challenge.
Well, like you said, you were over leveled. Anything else?
No. Well, I also safe slotted right in front of Rayquaza because I wanted to see if I could catch it in a Pokeball. So, and I managed it.
I mean, well, yeah, you had infinite tries.
I know. I think I actually tried that on an actual playthrough of like Ruby or something a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think I caught it.
Right.
My first time I was playing Pokemon Sapphire.
And
And I
playing
walked
Ruby.
into a cave and I found this legendary Pokemon sitting there. And I was like, oh my gosh, a legendary Pokemon. I talked to it and it started fighting. And I was like, all right, I beat it. Yeah, I beat the legendary Pokemon. Woo! I was really excited. And then I was like, wait, how do I catch the legendary Pokemon?
I was like, hey, I caught it. I caught
And then
Grava.
he beat me using it.
I see.
Devin knocked out Kyogre. Oh my goodness.
Wasn't even
It's-
close.
I mean, it's really easy to knock out the legendary Pokemon.
Well, I did it intentionally.
Yeah, I know, but they're also not hard fights.
I know. I thought it was going to be a hard fight.
like
and
none
then
of
I
the
thought I
legendary
did a little
Pokemons
more.
are a hard fight.
I feel like
Well-
to people who don't know what's going on, the fact that you can catch the legendaries is so unintuitive.
I think Rayquaza is though a comparatively hard fight. Like if you go directly after fighting the Elite Four or something. Because
mean,
it's
I-
level 70.
Yes,
fair.
but
Throw
Sapphire. that was-
Pokeballs at it.
Sapphire
Save,
was.
throw Pokeballs. Save and then throw Pokeballs.
Yeah, exactly.
Not important.
Save and then throw. Just reset a million times.
Yeah, you can do that. Couldn't do that.
That's what I did.
I mean, that's what
Except it
every
saves
person,
slots because restarting the GBA is too
every
long.
single person who plays Pokemon saves right in front of them, right
Of
before they
course.
fight, just so they can throw Pokeballs at it over and over again because they don't want to use the Master Ball. Because you don't use the Master Ball on anything, obviously. The Master
the
Ball
thing
just
you
gets to sit in your inventory.
Yeah.
It always does for me. I never use it for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't either. I don't think I usually do.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll sell it and then someone in the NPC will use it.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
pretend someone's
No,
using
you
it.
can't sell it, Devin. I
You can't sell it.
don't think you can. I don't think in any Pokemon game you can.
I
thought you could sell it.
I don't remember. You might be able to. I don't know.
Hold up.
This isn't that important.
Can
Uh,
I sell the Master?
Yeah, so that's
Ball?
what you've been up to, Matthew.
Yeah, you can't sell the Master Ball.
All right then.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like that. Yeah, that's what I did for in Sun and Moon. That's what I did for all of the Tapu Pokemon. It's like you do their stupid, really easy puzzle, and then just sit there for a while until they get captured. Because it's real easy to kill them otherwise, or knock them out. I guess whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They should make it so that when you beat the legendary Pokemon, you get to throw a Pokeball at it.
I mean,
Then they could make the fights actually interesting.
I think that's technically what they're doing in Legends Arceus.
That's awesome. It only took 20 years of innovation.
I mean, that's the Pokemon series. Pokemon
Wait, it only
series.
took
The
20
Pokemon
years.
series innovated ever so slightly every release, and then they started releasing them yearly, which means the games started becoming less
Oh, that's a good
successful.
point.
Well, that's the thing. Like before, I think I guess X and Y or something would have been the turning point to yearly release at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because we started getting a Pokemon game like every year.
Magic the Gathering started doing that too. They changed it from every year you'd have 4 sets. They'd come out 1, 2, 3, 4 across the months. And
Mhm.
now we have 2 things happening every month.
That's too much, man.
And it's not that we have 2 sets, but we have like 2 releases of something. And that's sometimes we even have more than that. It's insane. Right now we're in a quiet phase.
It's far too much. Like seriously, who could keep up with that? Especially if they're changing rules or adding new ones.
No, they're not adding rules. They're just new cards. Or
I know,
alternate-
but like new cards could potentially add new effects.
They could. And then you'd need to update your deck. Yeah. It's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
Uh, If you wanted to keep track of it all, but you also don't have to keep track of it all. That's actually my favorite thing about it, is that because there's so much happening, it brings back that nostalgia of like, how in the 80s we didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
Well, the way around that, the way to get people to not know what's going on is to just have so much going on that no one actually can pay attention to all of it. And so then people can go back to going to their local library or their local person who knows and is keeping track of all of this stuff and talk to them.
Mhm.
And then the most important thing is while I'm looking through cards, I'll be surprised by something now. If we had every 3 months, we would not have. I would know all the cards.
I mean, I suppose that is one benefit.
I think it's a benefit.
To be fair, I feel like most. I'm just gonna abandon that joke. I'm just gonna throw that joke to the curb because it failed.
So wait, did you ask me what I'm doing this week?
I have not, but Matthew is done, so go for it.
So I challenged myself last night yesterday, I, for whatever reason, couldn't sleep. So I ended up staying up for a ridiculously long amount of time without actually being that tired.
I see. You had a case of insomnia. Everybody has it once in a while.
Probably. But like it wasn't, insomnia, because I wasn't even tired. I was just like up walking around. I've been up for 21 hours. What does this matter?
Mm-hmm.
I took a nap earlier, which helped with, which I think is what
the all-powerful nap.
Yeah, the all-powerful nap for half.
Let me just have a nap. It'll be fine.
Power break. All right, I'm back.
Sleeps for 2 minutes.
That'd be a cool superhero, a guy who's just like his power is power nap. And so he's just like
power nap man.
No, quite seriously, that would be a really cool power. A guy who functions at like multi levels of capacity, functions all the time, and it's just like, who's that? That's power nap man. Really? It's like, yes, his power is that he can take power naps, and it actually works.
It's such a useless power, but also kind of useful.
No.
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of useful. It's only useful if you take advantage of it.
Okay, he's taking full advantage of it, and he's doing things like he'll be sitting, he'll be focusing really fast, he'll be moving multiple hands around. He's like also like a really smart person maybe, and so he'll do that, and then he'll be like power nap, and then he'll get up and he'll go over and start lifting weights, and then he'll be like power nap, and then after he power naps, his body replenishes as if he's really, really strong, because every time he lifts weights, he can repair his body really fast with a power nap. This is off topic completely.
Yes, it is.
Cool.
Continue with what you were saying, power nap man.
Yes. So anyway, I challenged myself. Are you ready for this?
to become a superhero.
No. Yes, to be a superhero. But no. So I bought a bunch of underwear that I was going to wear on the outside of my pants.
As superheroes do.
Yeah, and then I was going to go to the dangerous part of town and get shot for no reason. No.
Like superheroes do.
Like superheroes do. I think just like a superhero. I die just like a Wait
a second.
Wait, I don't get to respawn? Dang it.
Oh man. Okay. I watched Megamind and I thought Hal was the hero.
So
clearly I took the wrong message from that film.
I decided to challenge myself to get 50 kills in a single Bed Wars game.
All right.
And you would not believe that my team, you would not believe this, but the first game I got 26 kills. The first game of the challenge. And I was like, all right, this shouldn't be too hard. Second game, my teammate decides to kill all the teams.
Oh,
and
all
so
right.
I kept getting matched up with either really good teammates who would take all the enemies out, fast games that just ended immediately because everyone took each other out. And in order to get 50 kills, you have to not have teams die.
Well, yeah, obviously.
You have to be able to kill them multiple times.
Well, yeah.
And it was driving me a little crazy. And then finally I got a game that lasted a while, and I got lucky, and an entire team was full of idiots who, if I stood on a bridge, they would run at me and I could knock them into the void one by one, and then they'd respawn and they'd run at me and I knocked them.
They're just having fun.
I think they were having fun. I mean, they had some, it was a fun game. It was a very fun game. It was very fun. And I managed to get, I think, 54 kills. And of course, I mean, we won. Of course we won, because like,
of course we won.
No, look, I can carry games against good players if my teammates are at least vaguely competent. Like, I can destroy most enemies' beds, because destroying an enemy bed, if you're going up against a bad team, you can just kill all of the bad players. If you're going up against a good team, it is often the case that they will not be in their base
Mm-hmm.
because good players abandon their base and go all out aggro and just assume no one's going to bridge over to their base. And if someone does, they'll respawn in time to kill them. But then sometimes they don't. And I get to just like, basically, in order to beat a team that's really skilled and dangerous, you just look at their base. And as soon as there's no one in their base, you bridge really fast to their base, destroy their red.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Sounds like a good thing. Good strategy.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
Using your eyeballs. It's like no one would ever expect that.
No one would ever expect
Eyeball.
no one would ever expect the basic human ability to see. No one ever expects the Spanish Inquisition.
What's that from?
It's just a weird thing. Yes.
So the other thing that I was doing was
Well,
I
that
was not
sounds
playing Bedwars with you.
well that certainly sounds like a fun little challenge. I
other
would
thing I was
like
doing
to
was
say
not-
though. What?
The other thing I was doing was not playing Bed Wars with you because you said you would call and you
Yeah,
didn't.
I'm aware, Devin, but I got very caught up. I was
Okay.
going to get into that. I did a lot of housework the past week.
Awesome. I wasn't upset. I was just kind of like peeved because I was like, I've had my phone. I've been keeping track of my phone and Aaron hasn't called. And I check it and Aaron hasn't called. Has he forgotten? Or have I just did I miss it? No, I didn't miss a call. Okay, never mind.
Hey, listen, man.
The
I did a lot of
paranoia.
housework this week. There's stuff that needed to be done. Also,
I replaced our washing machine.
you know, as you do.
Yeah, as you do. I
It's
understand
important.
how it works.
It's important stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did housework, and there was others. What else did I do? I did housework, and then wait, did I clean my room?
I made a bunch of decks for the internet.
This is the problem. My memory is so terrible that I just don't remember what I fucking did. Continue. I'm aware about the Bed Wars thing. I'm sorry about that. I will rectify it once I have time, which will probably be tomorrow, hopefully. Wait. Yeah, it'll be fine. In this case, it'll be fine. I'm not lying, probably.
Okay. Here, look. If you decide that you don't, if you're just like, nah, I don't want to play Bed Wars, actually, nah, then that's fine.
Well, it's
don't
not
have
that
to
I
play
don't
Bed
want
Wars.
to. It's also just like I do. I'm aware. I did remember that the entire week, and I did kind of feel bad
Okay.
about it. But also, it was one of those things where you left it as sort of an open invitation, where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
well, I can just call whenever, and I'm just, I have work to do, so
Okay,
I'll
how
just do that.
How about if we do it like this? I will call you.
That'll go perfectly.
All right, 3 a.m. Aaron, hey, are you awake?
Hello,
We're gonna play Bed Wars.
hello.
7 a.m. Aaron, wake up! We just played Bed Wars. Yeah, play Bed Wars again.
You just it's just
Then 4
this
hours
whole-
later, Aaron, and you're like, "How are you still awake, Devin?" I'm like, "I don't sleep.
No sleep, only craft.
Only Bed Wars, only the
Only-
craft."
Only the Bed Wars, only the craft. You see, this whole box is filled with Minecraft. This whole box is filled with Minecraft. There's Minecraft. This whole box is Minecraft. It's all I do. It's all I see. There is no Minecraft here. I couldn't think of something more clever to use that bit that I thought of with. So there you go, Pepe Sylvia. That's what I was thinking about. Thinking of. If for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a bit from a what do they call it? A comedy show.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's basically a guy going crazy about a piece. He keeps finding mail. The whole bit is that he is convinced that there's like a conspiracy in the office because he keeps finding mail to some person he doesn't believe exists. So it's like, this whole box is Pepe Sylvia. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. This whole box is Pepe Sylvia. We keep getting mail for Pepe Sylvia. Anyways, I was explaining a joke, which automatically makes it not funny. So continue with what you were saying.
That's it.
Okay, so you're playing Bed Wars. That's what I was going to say before you trampled over my heart with guilt. I was saying like you were trying to get it in one go, obviously, the 50 kills. But I was curious. I feel like collectively you could, because it's like you still got those kills. So collectively, you've probably gotten over 50 anyways.
Collectively, I've got hundreds, perhaps thousands. But
yeah,
collectively isn't in one game. and I had a game. I had a game where I took out every single bed and every single enemy. And I got 10 final kills because one of the enemies left the game.
I see.
Which is so close because a perfect game. Wait, 10 final kills? Oh, wait. 8 final kills. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't
Basic math.
No, yeah. I think it was 10 final kills because two people had left the game. Left the game or died to someone. I think they ended up leaving the game. And it was really sad because I was like, I just had a perfect game. And it's not perfect.
It's not perfect. Why can't it be perfect? But yes. Anyways, so that's all
anyway.
you had going on.
That, and I've been making a bunch of magic cards and posting them on Reddit, on my subreddit, and on other places.
Oh, right. That thing.
I've not been making magic cards. I've been making decks with magic cards for a whole complicated thing that I'm currently obsessed with. Or not obsessed with, highly focused on.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice way of putting obsessed.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I could go off on it for like 10 minutes and explain what it all is, but it can be summarized in Magic is an expensive game, but I feel like it's a game for everyone. Like anyone who can understand Magic could probably enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make competitive Magic more accessible to people also, because basically the most popular format right now is Commander, and in Commander you have multiple players, and that's a completely different dynamic than 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy Magic 1v1 because it's a lot faster. Very importantly, it's a lot faster and it's a lot easier than getting together a bunch of people. And so I had this idea, and as I had this, like after I had this idea, a really popular YouTuber said the exact same thing in a YouTube video. After I was talking about this, and another YouTuber also talked about this right after, how the price of Magic is crazy. One person said 1v1's coming back, the other person said the price of Magic is crazy, and they cited the same things that I've been feeling. And so I was like, yes, this is I've got this. And this is not short, but I just whatever. The idea that I had was a $5 deck. You have $5 to build your deck, and the price is calculated using TCG Player, and TCG Player is a website where you buy cards. So instead of saying TCG Player, I'll say Scryfall, because Scryfall pulls from TCG Player to get its price. But it isn't TCG Player. So when people think of it in their head, they're not thinking I'm getting the card from a price thing. You're thinking you're getting it from the card website.
Right.
And then
makes sense.
The ban list would include all cards that have been banned, plus some other cards that are just dumb and abusable. So any card that has been deemed too powerful for a format would be banned. And then the last idea was a 25 card sideboard, because if you're going to have more space for sideboards, then if you add more space for sideboards and include the price of the sideboard in the deck, then you have to like include the sideboard price or something. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And I had this idea and I posted about it on Reddit and I made some decks, and someone thought the idea was so good that they built a whole freaking website for it. They're just like, oh yeah, by the way, I bought the domain for 5cap. And I'm like, what? You did what? And he's like, yeah, I'm working on setting up a system to transfer the massive price calculation, blah, 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 computer stuff. And I was like, Well, I'm
did
glad you
do
thought
that?
it was a good idea. And he's like, what? It was my idea. And I was like, no, it's not your idea. It's my idea.
It's my idea.
I mean, you're doing all of this, so it's definitely partly your idea. But
Yeah.
like, I'll give him founding membership, but I'm not giving him credit for the idea. Although I don't think he actually wants credit for the idea. He just wants a certain amount of control over what goes on, because I am not very intelligent sometimes.
I've never
Wait.
noticed.
way to sell yourself.
Well, no, here's the thing. I come up with neat ideas, but I know that I am not going to be the smartest person in the room. And so
Mhm.
I have to find the smart people and get them to give me ideas to help me so that I can credit them for their ideas and then use the best idea, because that's what I want.
Makes sense.
And then the last thing was because of this idea, there were also some various offshoot format ideas, which makes things confusing, but is also a cool idea. So like a $5 cap for modern, or a $5 cap for pauper, which are Magic formats. And so they're Magic formats with their own rules and meta. And if you shrunk it down to a $5 limit, it'd be a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a summary.
That was a summary.
I can't
Go in more
wait to
detail.
hear the full thing.
Yep. I'm currently writing up the rules list for it, because I'm going to host a $50 tournament at my local store. Once I
Wait,
get the rules sorted out. Yeah.
which one?
Yes. I'll just call one of them. I'm sure we can sort it out.
I'm sure there's
I am
some that you aren't.
I am sure I can contact them and we'll get in touch and it'll be fine.
It'll be completely fine.
I won't have to breathe really heavily and pray a little bit and focus, and it won't be scary.
Yeah.
No, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Inner demons coming back to haunt me.
You won't have to. Exactly.
Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I've been making things and working on things and doing things, and I created another YouTube channel.
Oh boy.
Okay. Anyway, you can go on with the
so
show.
the
This is
running
nothing-
jokes and/or themes of this channel, so far, are me talking and/or complaining about Dark Souls, Minecraft, Devin making more and more channels, and Max not being here. There you go. Those are the 4 cornerstones of this fucking thing that we make.
Yeah.
Pokemon will probably eventually, at least making a Pokemon game, will probably eventually become the 5th.
I feel like it already is.
That's
just
true, you are
because of how
making a
long
Pokemon
that's going
game.
to take. Anyways, what have I been up to, you may ask? Well, as I said before, housework. That's basically what I've been up to the last week.
Nice.
I was cleaning it. Not the majority of the housework. Some of the housework involved cleaning out a closet that is outside of my room, which is full of lots of junk and other things. So I had to clean it out, and then there's a bunch of stuff I had to like wash by hand because it was small and other stuff. It's a whole process, of just, housework. It's not like it's not something to like write home about as far as difficult things to do. That sentence was more complex than it needed to be. Anyways, housework. That's what I did. And yeah, that's basically it. Just did a bunch of housework and continued being a cat dad to the cats that I have. Had them for several months now. Wait, no, not so like close to 9, I guess. 9 months of kittens.
Wow.
Which is quite a bit of time to be with them.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, I guess I can give like vague updates. You can see I'm wearing headphones. Well, if you're only listening to this through the audio, you can't see that. But I have headphones on because it's important for this. Anyways, I got speakers. So now I have speakers to for my computer to produce sound through. So I don't have to use headphones. I'm using them for the podcast because it's more efficient and better. But you know, so that problem for that I believe I mentioned last week has been rectified now. Anyways, I'm a very boring individual. Yeah, that's basically it though. I just did housework. I didn't play any games or do anything super cool. I just cleaned my house. I cleaned my house and listened to music, pretending that I was being productive. Yes. Anyways, that's what I've been up to.
Okay.
So unless we have something else to talk about, we'll just move on to trailers, which I believe is next. Yeah, that's what next is. We've done this enough. Why am I even questioning what is next on the docket? Anyways. So yes, trailers. First trailer we have for today is, as I said, for Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. So after roughly 5 years of development, we finally have a release date for the game. And also, obviously, just a big trailer gameplay overview stuff to talk about. So the Skywalker Saga, for those of you who wish to know more about it or don't know, what is up with me today? I'm just talking weird. Yes, the Skywalker Saga, and it's, as the name implies, it's a compilation of all 9 Star Wars films, even if you choose to believe that only 3 of the films exist. All of them do exist in this game. So you have the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and the sequel trilogy all to go through.
And I'm sure that the sequel trilogy would be far better in Lego than it ever was on film.
That, maybe?
Or at least I have to hope.
maybe.
It's not hard to get better, though.
Yes, and as far as Lego's games are concerned, this is definitely the most in-depth and biggest Lego game that we've seen from TT and other, or just, you know, in general, like a licensed game. This is possibly one of the bigger ones. Well, not licensed, but as far as the Lego games are concerned in the Star Wars stuff, it's definitely the biggest game they've created. There's a lot of changes and stuff that they've added. There's a cover system, which is something that I'm not sure it needs to exist, but there is a cover system now in Lego.
Okay.
The combat, both with blasters and lightsabers, has become in much deeper than it ever was before. So it appeared like enemies have health bars. They don't just like die after you hit them a couple times. They have like proper health bars. Numbers appear when damage numbers appear when you hit something. It appears something that was brought up in something before is that they were kind of going for like a God of War like combat system, which means they were doing very hack and slash stuff. I'm not sure if that's still in the game, considering from what I've read, but that is sort of what they were going for. So yeah, there's like an over the shoulder camera angle for blasting and stuff with like blasters, lightsabers, lifesavers, and lightsabers, which are both different things. However, they might be different things, but they're both colorful, so that's good enough for me.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, the combat. I feel like I should not continue to talk about. Jesus Christ, the combat system is more in depth than any other Lego game has been before. I've already said that, but I'm just repeating it because my brain is terrible. The worlds are pretty big from the looks of it as well. There's like this, not like semi open world-esque aspect to it. Like you can pick where to go from like a map selector in the, where was it? Yeah, there's also lots of references and comedy chalked into it from everything that's happened. So, like there's a lot of references to weird stuff that's happened in Star Wars over the years, like the whole first controversy. They address it directly, and there's a scene of Han and Guido shooting at each other over a table. So they both shot. They both shot first, obviously.
They added a cool setting thing, it looks like from the end of the trailer. They added a neat setting thing that you could choose. It might be a secret.
Yes, there's also like classes. Like there's class types.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There are class types for characters.
I'm very interested.
Which is interesting. Like, I highly doubt. Oh yeah. Also, the cutscenes are fully voiced, but you can turn that off.
Yeah,
and turn on what they call mumble mode, which is just the characters talking in most of what appears to be Simlish from my ears. Yeah, that.
It looks entertaining.
Yeah, I mean the game looks fine as far as a Lego game is concerned. It's obviously a children's game, but that's fine. I'm
curious about it.
Like, I'm not like, if you're an adult who never had any care for the Lego games, you probably won't get anything out of this. If you're an adult that loved Lego games as a child, you'd probably get a lot out of this. And also, if you're a kid, don't know why you'd be here, but if you're a kid, then yeah, this game will definitely do a lot for you. There's also a lot of, I noticed, reused like camera angles and stuff from the previous previous entries in the series. That's the word I was looking for. Like, well, I say reused, remade camera angles and stuff, like for cutscenes and such, to call back to, well, here it is. Yeah, so there's a galaxy map. Basically, you can choose wherever you want to go to from a galaxy map. So the game is kind of super open-ended to some degree.
Oh, yeah.
So the game is like pretty open-ended, and there's a lot of places you can just pick to go. Also, lots of characters to pick from and do stuff with. The one thing I will say, I don't know if co-op exists. I'd assume it does, just because that's the case for every Lego game that's ever existed. Well, the licensed one anyway. The licensed one anyways. Licenses. Not doing too well for some reason. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of lukewarm on the on this announcement, to be perfectly honest. It's fine. I just don't, it's just, it's a Lego game. That's what I have to say. It's definitely deeper than others, but what do you guys think?
I like the idea of it. It looks interesting. I like Lego.
No, really?
I think it's been a ridiculously long time since we had like a core Star Wars game. So that's cool. Like the good classic one was like a long time ago.
I assume you mean in the Lego series, because
I meant in the Lego series. Sorry.
Because
it's been a long time since the Lego Star Wars existed.
Yes, it has been.
It's been like 10 years. That was a good game. I really like that game.
Yeah. It's definitely a fun game. I mean, well, since the original anyways, it's been quite a while. I believe 2008.
Yeah, we had a Lego
yeah, there was another Lego game that came out that was about the new trilogy that came out
We
before.
had so Aaron, it
What?
was 15 years ago that Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga released.
Yeah, the original Complete Saga thing with
It was 10 years ago when Lego Star Wars 3 released. And
shit, was it that long ago? Fuck
yeah, it
me,
was
man.
10 years ago when Lego Star Wars 3, the one with the really cool PvP arena where you could build armies and throw them at each other.
Oh wait, you're talking about that game. I forgot about that game. That one that was based on the Clone Wars television show.
Yeah.
And then there was another Star Wars game,
That no
the
one
Force
cared
Force
about.
Awakens, the Force Awakens game.
No one cared about, that no one should care about.
Mhm. I mean, it's the game that introduced the cover mechanic and the sort of more.
No. Aaron, bad movie equals bad game, okay?
The Force Awakens is a completely fine film,
It's a completely fine film. That is true.
as is J.J. Abrams' style to produce completely fine films.
It set up a ruined series.
Yeah, that's the thing. J.J. Abrams is good at two things. He's good at setting things up and creating incredibly average fine films. That's the only thing he's good at.
Here's the thing. I think
I'll tell you what he's bad at. He's bad at making good films, and he's bad at paying off things he sets up.
or setting up things that can be paid off effectively. That can be
I just
easily
don't
paid off.
understand why Ryan Johnson killed Snoke.
Okay, here's the thing, guys.
Because he was a clone, obviously.
But
That was
doesn't make
all planned
sense.
from the beginning.
Okay, here's the
No,
thing.
they were clearly two directors fighting over it because the third director left.
Okay, here's the thing. I am happy blaming both J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson
Oh, sure,
for the
Well,
problems of the more recent series. And the
Yeah.
reason is because if I hand you a map and I tell you this map is going to get you from point A to point B, and it's not actually finished.
Mhm.
And I just it just has it's got some detailed directions and it's just got an arrow saying go this direction. And you're like, well, I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
And I don't even know where I'm supposed to go after I go that direction, dude. Where's this supposed to end up? Then it doesn't work.
Yeah, the biggest problem with the sequel trilogy is that nobody had an overarching plan.
I know.
Like, there wasn't a George Lucas type figure who had the idea. And I'm aware that multiple people co-wrote the original series with George Lucas, but he was the main figure behind it. Like, he was the main writer behind the original series and the prequel trilogy. There wasn't anybody like that for the sequel trilogy. There wasn't like a head of the project who had an idea for a 3-film trilogy. What there was a bunch of desperate directors who just wanted money. Well,
yeah.
To be fair, it's a little unfair to J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson, because I'm sure they had ideas for their own trilogies that they wanted to do, but
Here's the thing.
it's
If
honestly
Ryan
really
Johnson-
weird.
If Ryan Johnson had started the entire Star Wars series, had started the series, and
Well,
had
he was
made it
supposed
from-
to get his own trilogy. Not sure
No, I
if
know, but
that's
if-
happening.
if he had made his own, if he had been able to reboot the series, if Ryan Johnson had started the reboot and not J.J. Abrams, I think it could have been really interesting.
Mhm.
Because it would have been a reintroduction to Star Wars after a long time, and the things that were annoying in Last Jedi were not the political things. They were the bad story things, or the inconsistent characters, or
The space horses.
Space horses. That wasn't in that movie.
I will wholeheartedly I like Last Jedi a lot as a film. I will wholeheartedly agree Space Horses is really fucking dumb.
Aaron, Space Horses was in the sequel to Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. What are you
Space
talking
Horses was
Oh,
in
right.
Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker is the movie that everyone can agree was really dumb.
No, wait, do you not remember Rose, not Rose, sorry. No, that was her name. Rose
Yeah.
and Finn going to the casino planet with the rich people.
Oh, those Space Horses.
Yeah, those space horses.
Right.
I
those
forgot
Space
that there
Horses.
were two kinds
Oh
of
my
space horses. Yes, the whole going
okay.
to that entire social commentary about rich people is really dumb.
Uh-huh.
Does not need to exist in the film. It makes it worse. All of the stuff with Luke Skywalker is good, with the exception of the green milk, and that's it.
Okay, so my thinking is, I think Rian
didn't
Johnson
throw
could
the
have done a good
lightsaber.
job if he had been given it from the get-go, because he seemed to
Yeah.
have a vision for the story he wanted to tell. J.J. Abrams did not seem to have a vision for the story he wanted to tell. And
Well,
I honestly, the person that I want to have made a Star Wars movie the most, and like to get the full on, they get to make Star Wars as they want, is Quentin Tarantino. I want to see a Quentin Tarantino Star Wars trilogy. Because
it wouldn't involve the main cast at all. It would just be about some guy.
no, I know, because he would use cameos of the main he would have used the cameos of the main cast brilliantly. It would have had gripping tension the entire time. It would have been so good.
The slight counter argument I want to make with the whole, like, who should start the series thing is that I feel like I do agree with, like, Rian Johnson if he started series, but
Aaron,
I also just want to say,
okay,
like,
just imagine Force Awakens written by Quentin Tarantino. Same,
I mean, it would certainly
thing,
be interesting.
Done in Tarantino's style.
Yeah, it would be very interesting.
It would have been. Okay, you wanted to say something.
The thing I want to say though is that I feel like I don't know why they changed directors at all anyways, because it almost feels like they changed directors because that's what the original trilogy did.
Can I say
it's
something?
like they changed directors, therefore that's what we should do. That's what I really feel like when I see the change of director from J.J. Abrams to Rian Johnson. Let me finish, Matthew. It really doesn't feel like that was a necessary change. Like, I don't know if J.J. Abrams had a vision at all, but I feel like if the entire series was helmed by him, it would have at least made sense. It would have at least had a maybe not a satisfactory, but a cohesive beginning, middle, and end, instead of having a beginning that sets up things that are never paid off because the second part was done by a different person who didn't care. Or wanted to set up his own thing, rather. It's just maybe you're right. Maybe J.J. Abrams didn't have a proper vision and would have messed it up anyways, but I feel like just sticking to one director would have helped a lot. Yes. Anyways, what were you going to say, Matthew?
Yeah, sticking to one director might have helped.
So I actually did look into it a bit, like a while ago. And from what I heard, they originally had the idea of there would be 3 directors, one to direct each movie. So J.J. Abrams would direct the first episode, Rian Johnson would direct episode 2, and then another guy would direct episode 3.
Yeah.
And after Rian Johnson's thing, I believe it was after Rian Johnson's movie, the third director was like, I can't deal with it. I don't know what to do with this. No.
I'm pretty sure it was just because,
to my knowledge, that's what happened. Because I know that this was from Mark, what's his name again?
What? Mark Hamill?
Yeah, Mark Hamill said this, if I remember correctly.
Well, I mean,
like him and the third director had been talking.
Do we know who the third director was?
I don't remember his name.
God, you're useless. Okay, that's possible, but also, here's the thing. This is another thing. I don't feel like that gets rid of my thought that the 3 different directors was unnecessary anyway. Why were they even switching directors? Was it because of the workload? I feel like that's the only real reason they must have been doing it, because otherwise there would have been no reason.
No, I don't know. But the creative reasons of Lucasfilm is why he left in 2017.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought
Trevorrow.
Who?
Trevorrow. Colin Trevorrow.
What has he done?
Jurassic World, Battle at Big Rock, The Book of Henry, Safe.
Oh boy.
Safety
Maybe
Not
it was a good
Guaranteed.
thing he didn't direct it.
Why is he credited with The Rise of Skywalker? He didn't direct that.
It's probably or a producer.
Reality show. All right.
Anyway,
some movies.
The thing I was trying to go along with that is like I don't necessarily disagree with your point, Matthew, but also having multiple directors was a weird choice because it just feels like they did it because it something the previous films did.
Yeah, let me look.
You know,
why have 3 directors for
like you don't have to look this up. It just like it really does feel like Lucasfilms or whoever was heading it just said, well, the original trilogy did it and everybody really liked that trilogy, so maybe we should do it and we'll get some really good talent and just hope that their disparate ideas will form together to make something cohesive, which is basically what this did. Anyways, this is
okay.
Off topic, I suppose. We're talking about Star Wars.
Hold on. I got the answer. Well, I got someone on Query answered it apparently.
What?
I'm not sure if this is an opinion or an official thing, but their answer is Disney went with 3 different directors for the episodes because there was no other option. Filming 3 huge films scheduled to come out every 2 years is a mammoth workload that very few directors would want to take on and make a commitment to. Okay.
That's entirely the fault of the people who were in charge, though.
Yeah, just span them out differently. Just make it so
even
they don't
if
have
that's
to come out
true,
every 2
that
years.
is entirely Disney and Lucasfilm or LucasArts' fault for wanting it to be that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
All of the talent that was put into this, I love them. They did a great job with what they had. The people who are actually in charge, no sympathy for you guys. You made this grave, and now you get to wallow in it.
Yeah.
Anyways, Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, hooray! Lego Star Wars.
Yay.
Yeah, this is now a movie podcast. Hello and welcome.
Wow, filming. Yes, hello, welcome to Filming the Discussion.
Yeah, welcome to Filming the Discussion, the new podcast where we talk about movies and give our terrible opinions about Star Wars.
Yeah, we don't do a gaming podcast anymore. We're a filming podcast. We're just rebranding real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, Aaron, rename all the podcast names.
Let me just get some. Okay, there we go. It's fixed now.
Yeah, all right. You rename the channel, everything. Got it. Got a good
yes. Anyways, moving back to Star Wars Force Awakens before we go off on another movie tangent, because holy shit, I did not expect a massive Star Wars tangent to derive from that, but whatever. Well, I mean, not the movies anyways. Anyways, but yeah, Star Wars The Force Awakens, Skywalker Saga. What did I say? Did I say the Force
those
Awakens?
Lego games are good too.
Yeah, it has a release date. I haven't even said what the release date was yet. Yes, Skywalker Saga. It has it finally has a release date of April the 5th. This year, April the 5th, 2022, which is this year, coming to PC, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. To launch, the Skywalker Saga. Whoops. But yeah, like I said, it seems like a fine game if you're into that kind of thing.
That's nice.
It looks very nice, I will say.
Yeah. Yes.
It does look very nice for a Lego game. It does look very nice. Also, something I wanted to point out is that a lot more of the environment seems to be made of Legos than previous games. You know?
Oh, I didn't really notice that.
You notice that? A lot more of the environment seems to be made of Legos.
That's neat.
Because there's like one specific scene where there's like actual Lego fire instead of like a fire, like regular fire. There's also just like, I don't know, like there's obviously a lot of environment that isn't made of Legos, but there's a lot there is, which I think is kind of interesting. Anyways, but yeah. Moving on from Star Wars. Anyways, wait, did both of you give your opinions on this? Or did you? Because I don't remember.
Yeah, I think
I got lost in Star Wars.
I'm interested in it.
Devin, did you give your opinions on that game?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. Moving on to the next trailer. Trailer. One second. Okay. Now that that's over with, moving on to the next trailer we have for today, which is the release date announcement trailer for Backbone. Backbone is a post-noir narrative adventure set in a dystopian animal-inhabited Vancouver, BC. Is heading into Switch on February 9th. In Backbone, play as a raccoon detective Howard Lotar as you seek to uncover the truth in an increasingly dark case as you dig into the society's corrupt class system. A deeply personal story of change and transformation will begin to unfold. Now, as that said, I was reading the description of the game, by the way. I wasn't just like going off the top of my head. So this is it's an adventure game, obviously, but it's a 2D pixelated side-scrolling type deal where you play as, a raccoon detective who is a drunk, and like the what's the word? It looks really nice. Like graphically, it looks very nice. The pixelated art is very nice. One thing I want to talk about specifically is the backgrounds. Like the backgrounds are really, really nice looking. Like they're really, really nice looking and well done. Like they're parallaxing. They're parallax backgrounds. But like there's so much detail and like layers to the backgrounds that all sort of like blend together to make a cohesive picture. It just looks really nice. Yeah, it looks really nice. And what was I going to say? But yeah, it's an adventure game. So you play as a detective who's on a mission to uncover some kind of case, and it's a very what's the word? It's one of those indie games that's like trying to talk about deep subject matters and stuff like that, like class, like corrupt class systems, stuff like that. And it's using, everybody is an anthropomorphized animal. I don't think I know. I've mentioned that you play as a raccoon, but the world is filled with anthropomorphic animals. Because so that's like all the characters are animals instead of people, which is what you do when you want to make a story like this, but don't want to use or make comments about real people. It's what Zootopia did, and it's what this game is going to do. Mind you, I don't think this game has a story about racism. It talks about the class system, so it's probably more related to that. Like the societal class, not like not RPG classes, societal class.
Yeah.
What do you two think? Well, I'm so talking so much. What do you two think?
It looks pretty interesting.
Oops. Yeah.
I'm not totally sure what would happen in it, but it looks interesting.
Well,
Like even with the trailer, which I did watch.
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's also a thing. There's some kind of black ooze in a tube that our main character uncovers at the end of the trailer. So
yeah.
there's probably something more supernatural happening on top of just the general dark case he's trying to figure out. I spilled water on myself. Yeah. What about you, Devin?
I don't know. I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
I'll be right back.
Right. All right, then. That was a bit abrupt, but we'll be right back. And we are back. Sorry about that, but it's fine. Anyways, resuming our talk about Backbone. Did you have anything to say about it, Devin? You have anything to comment about it? It's a detective noir adventure game where you play as a raccoon.
No.
Okay, good to know. What did you
It's
say?
cute.
Oh, okay. What did you did you say anything, Matthew?
I thought it looked interesting. I'm not totally sure what's up in it, but
All right, good to know. Personally, I think it looks very nice. As I've said, I shouldn't say I'll be playing it because that implies that I have money to purchase it. Yeah, I would play it if I had the money to do so. Also, it's coming February 9th, so it's pretty close. It's pretty close to release, only a couple weeks. But yeah, go check out Backbone if it pleases you. I don't know. It looks interesting, so you know. So, moving on to our flashed trailer of the day, Songs of Glimmerwick. So, reading off of, I guess, what's technically like a generic description of the game, Songs of Glimmerwick is a story-driven RPG where magic is cast through music. Players will attend magic classes, learn to play different songs to cast spells, grow a magical garden, make potions, and take on quests to get to know the various denizens of Glimmerwick. There are moth races, forced expeditions, and festivals to attend, mixing plenty of optional mini-games and side quests alongside the main storyline. Characters are customizable. NPCs, both major and minor, will be voice acted, and game's music will be composed by Eastshade composer Phoenix Glendening. Come to PC. So, as that sort of general description said, Songs of Glimmerwick is a game where you cast spells through song, and you go to a magic academy. So you go to a magic academy. The game it's got this, like, I guess I can't really say pixelated. It's like a little pixelated, but it's mostly like a drawn aesthetic.
got a nice look to it.
It has this like 2D drawn, like not what's the term? Like drawn aesthetic that looks really nice. The music sounds pretty good as well. Well, obvious. You'd hope so, considering you're casting spells through song in this game. Yeah, there's a lot of different like gameplay mechanics as well. There seems to be like some what's the term? So yeah, but Songs of Glimmerwick looks very nice. As it said, you're going to like a magic academy where you learn how to do a bunch of magic stuff, like brew potions.
It looks like an actually good-looking Harry Potter game.
See, I thought that either of you would mention Harry Potter because it does bring that to mind because of the whole magic school angle.
And the color choices and the design. I mean, I guess that is kind of what you would go with for a magic school, but like it looks very much like Hogwarts.
Like, I will agree with that. It did come to mind because
it looks really good though.
Yeah, like magic. Harry Potter has kind of ruined them. Well, not ruined, but kind of taken over the whole magic school thing, where it's like that's the biggest piece of media that contains a magic school of the last like 30 years. So, it makes sense that people would, associate magic schools with Harry Potter. But there's a lot of what's the word? Jesus Christ. Why are my words failing me? But so the thing that this game reminds me of the most is a little point and click adventure game by the name of Loom, which was also a game where you cast spells through song. It was a LucasArts adventure game where you cast spells through, like, its main gimmick was that you cast spells through music, and it had this weird sense of comedy. And had this weird sense of comedy. It was kind of like a mystical adventure type thing. That's what this game reminds me of. And it's not just because of the whole, cast spells through music mechanic. It also just kind of has like a general fantasy aesthetic that kind of reminds me of Loom. But there's also a lot of like, it mentions mini games as well that you can like do in this game. I'm not entirely sure. Like, the game itself kind of looks vaguely open. Like, there's a lot of places you can go to. I'm not entirely sure what certain core gameplay mechanics are going to be, because it looks like you're sort of exploring the world and learning magic, but there's also like farming mechanics where you like go into a botanical garden, clean it up, and then plant stuff, all through the power of music, literally, because you can't use magic to cast spells. So I don't know. It looks like a sort of a large variety of gameplay mechanics are on display that you can choose from to do and stuff. So I don't know. I just it looks very nice.
The UI looks really cool. I mean, if that's gameplay footage, that's some cool looking, like, I'm curious how you control it.
Yeah, I'd imagine, well,
Like,
it does say it's coming to PC and consoles. So this is the actually, I just realized this game looks pretty like comprehensive for, I didn't mention this, but this is like a reveal trailer. So this is the first looks of the game. This is pretty comprehensive and like on point for being a reveal trailer, especially for a game that isn't even coming out until next year, 2023. So I don't know, that's pretty impressive to me anyways. Yeah, I mean, it looks like, I'd assume you control, like, if you're doing keyboard and mouse, it looks like you're casting spells or give them area of effect with mouse and stuff. And then you control your character with, most likely, WASD or something else. So I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, what do you guys think?
Yeah. I said it looks really
The
pretty.
tree talking at the very end was freakish.
I'm curious how the controls end up working.
Yeah,
As
it looks neat overall. I like the graphics.
Graphically, it looks very nice.
Yeah.
It's yeah, very sort of picture book. That's the
Yeah,
word.
I like both the
Mhm,
graphics.
mhm.
I like the graphics and the aesthetic.
Yeah, it's very picture book-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's calming, nice, happy. Gives me good
Mhm.
feeling.
Yeah,
Good,
it's
like,
just
it's
it's nice. It's a
intriguing.
nice little game. I enjoy what it has to offer. It's unfortunate that we'll have to wait a whole year before we even get a proper release date for it, though. Yeah, and that's something to Glimmerwick. Because I assume both of you are sort of, giving your opinions about it. Okay, yeah, it looks very nice. Wish listed on Steam now if you wish to do so. And that was Songs of Glimmer, which means we are done with trailers. Hooray! Now to talk about Star Wars again. No. Yes. Moving on to host topics, which is next, I believe. This trailers is over. That was a bit of an abrupt shift. Whatever. So, anybody got a host topic? Okay. What about anybody? Okay. Good. What?
We also don't have, that's another running joke. We don't have we don't
Oh
have
yeah,
host
no host topics. That's the other thing that we do. No host topics. That's the other cornerstone of this podcast. All right, so no host topics. That means we'll just move on to news in that case. So there's a lot to sort of go over with here, or to go over here. Well, we'll start off with the main piece, which is Microsoft buying Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard. So Microsoft is buying Call of Duty and World of Warcraft maker Activision Blizzard for in a deal that is worth roughly $7 billion. That is billion, right? Yeah, roughly $7 billion. Yeah, 68.7 billion to be precise. The deal is expected to be approved. So they haven't like bought it yet. They haven't like officially bought it, but it's a deal that is going to be approved next year, 2023. And it was confirmed by Microsoft in a blog post from Xbox boss Phil Spencer. This is a very, very large sum of money to buy a publisher for. Like this is a games company buying another games company level of like this is, as far as the gaming industry is concerned, this is one of the biggest like buyouts or like acquisitions we've seen in the games industry thus far. This is pretty much on the level of Disney buying Fox. It's on that level of like, this shouldn't be physically possible, but here we go. Yeah. So Microsoft.
I'm just like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Microsoft will now have access to all of the studios and subsidiaries that Activision Blizzard themselves owned, which was a lot. I'll go over them in a second. Specifically, Microsoft will own blockbuster franchises such as Call of Duty, Spyro, Guitar Hero, Crash Bandicoot, and Tony Hawk from Activision, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Hearthstone, StarCraft from Blizzard, as well as Candy Crush from Mobile Arm King, because you know the developer King that made Candy Crush? Activision Blizzard owned them. Now Microsoft does. So here's a rundown of quite a few of the developers / publishers that Microsoft now owns. So Microsoft will take over Activision Blizzard and all of its subsidiary studios, including Beanox, Demonware, Digital Legends, High Moon Studios, Infinity Ward, King, Major League Gaming, Radical Entertainment, Raven Software, Sledgehammer Games, Toys for Bob, and Treyarch. And that accounts for around 10,000 employees. So, it's a lot of people to have under one roof. Now, I cannot talk about this without also bringing up the fact that Activision Blizzard have been going through some shit for the past year and a half, which I have talked about zero of on this podcast, just because I didn't feel I was the right person to do so. But to quickly summarize, well, hold on. Wait, I lost my place. Deal guns, hurricane period during Blizzard following numerous reports of, employee misconduct, toxic workplace conditions, tense pressure on the company's hugely controversial boss, Bobby Kotick. Yeah, so Bobby Kotick, the very controversial boss of Activision Blizzard, has been condemned for quite a lot of different forms of harassment. Just if you throw a something at a dartboard, fuck, I'm messing up my joke. Basically, just take your pick of any of it, and he's probably done it, is basically what I'm saying. He's many different forms of harassment, workplace conditions being bad, pressure on employees, misconduct of every kind, sexual, racial, just all of them. Yeah, Blizzard Activision have been through the ringer, as it were, as many things have been exposed about them and the people in charge. Which has, I guess, been good. I mean, it's been good that it's coming out, I guess. It's not good for... It's good. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, that, just to summarize it, that's basically what's been going on. I didn't decide to cover any of it on the podcast just because there was so much of it. It was basically like new stuff coming out every week. So every week we'd basically have something to talk about regarding Activision Blizzard. And I just didn't feel like I was the right kind of person to talk about that kind of stuff. So I decided to not talk about it. But here we are anyways. Because I have to bring up that in regards to Microsoft's buyout. Because in a Microsoft statement, the company said, yeah, so one of the major things about this buyout is that as it will not be confirmed until next year, that means that Bobby Kotick, the person that a lot of people wanted to be taken down, is now essentially locked in as boss until the handover is made. So he will remain CEO. Yeah, until the... So where was it? Kotick will stay in place. So until this transaction closes, Activision Blizzard and Microsoft Gaming will continue to operate independently. Once the deal is complete, the Activision Blizzard business will report to Phil Spencer as CEO. In a Microsoft statement, the company also said Bobby Kotick will continue to serve as CEO of Activision Blizzard, and his team will maintain their focus on driving efforts to further strengthen the company's culture and accelerate business growth. Once the deal closes, the Activision Blizzard business will report to Phil Spencer, CEO, Microsoft Gaming. So Bobby Kotick is pretty, like I said, Bobby Kotick is locked in as CEO of Microsoft, or a CEO of Activision Blizzard, until the transaction date, which is not even until next year. So he gets to continue being in a place of power and money for quite a bit longer, which is unfortunate. Mind you, I suppose there wasn't really a ending to this. There wasn't really an ending to this that involved Bobby Kotick not getting money of some kind, but he's going to get a lot of money and a very large golden parachute to protect himself on his exit from the company, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is, I suppose. Yeah. As a company, Microsoft is committed to our journey for inclusion in every aspect of gaming among both players and employees and players. Spencer continued. We deeply value individual studio cultures. We also believe that creative success and autonomy go hand in hand with treating every person with dignity and respect. We hold all teams and all leaders to this commitment. We're looking forward to extending our culture of proactive inclusion to the great teams across Activision Blizzard. Spencer blog also included the following image showing Xbox's management team. So yeah. So just in general, it was a very large deal, very large buyout of a company with a lot of different things under its roof, as well as, lots and lots of what's the term? What is the term?
Skeletons in the closet.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. That have been coming out over the past year and a half.
We need your signature on something, so he's gotta bring it up.
Yeah, the Xbox also mentions that there'll be echoed much of those saying that continue to improve.
You guys are being
employees, the progress required leader to talk but walk the walk. Knew we'd have to do so. Yeah, they're saying like they're also mentioning that like Microsoft is aware that they have some work to do once the transaction is over in regards to, you know, rebuilding the image of the company that they have just bought, which is, you know, they have a very large problem on their hands. The biggest header of the problem is currently still in power. So, you know, they have a very large problem on their hands that is not going to go away anytime soon, unfortunately. Yeah, upon close, we will offer as many Activision Blizzard games. You know, they also mention like what happens to the games and rights and stuff like that with what they're doing. So they're going to be offering lots of Xbox games and Activision games on their Game Pass and stuff. Fantastic projects across Blizzard will also accelerate our plans for cloud gaming, blah, blah. They're talking about cloud gaming getting to people as possible. And that's like the general gist of this article that I'm reading, which is just the general, like, this is what happens. So yeah, it's genuinely concerning, I suppose. Like it's kind of scary when companies do stuff like this, where it's just turning into one conglomerate, you know? It's kind of scary when companies are able to buy other whole companies for money that is like enough to fund a small country. It's a little scary when something like that happens, because it's just like, God.
It's okay, Aaron. With every time we do this, we're getting a little bit closer to Megacorp.
Exactly. And that's the scary part. That's basically what I was getting at. It's like, you know, it's scary. It's a little scary when something like this happens because of, you know, companies basically becoming one after a while.
Welcome to Megacorp.
Yeah.
It's a subsidiary of the Trust in Us Corporation. You can trust in us.
Yeah. The fact that this was even possible at all is kind of ridiculous. But I suppose the major, not drawback, but the major like winning hand of this situation is that Microsoft will probably do a better job than Activision Blizzard was running their company. Probably. I've not heard of any massive skeletons coming out of Microsoft recently, so they'll probably be doing a better job than Bobby Kotick was. Yeah, anyways, the next thing I want to talk about, which is in line with this, a little like, I guess, aside for some like, I don't know, what do you want to call this? Good news? I mean, technically it's all good news, sort of, because it's, you know, I don't know. Anyways, the next thing I want to talk about specifically, or I guess, I mean, do you guys want to talk about or have any thoughts about this before I move on? Because it's still related to the whole like Xbox buyout, or the you know, the buyout. So okay, the next like major thing I want to talk about is Microsoft basically saying they want to revive a bunch of old IPs that Activision has been, you know, holding on to for the past like 3 decades. So Phil Spencer has said he is keen to revive Activision franchises the publisher has recently ignored. Spencer also suggested Activision Studios such as Crash Bandicoot 4 developer Toys for Bob would be released from its recent retooling to become cogs in the Call of Duty machine. So yeah, that's the other thing. Before Activision Blizzard sort of blew up or imploded, I guess, they were basically retooling most of their development teams to work on Call of Duty. We had talked about this a while ago, but Toys for Bob the big ones are Toys for Bob was being retooled after Toys for Bob made Crash Bandicoot 4. They were basically being retooled as a Call of Duty developer, which means they weren't doing anything else but making Call of Duty. And then Vicarious Visions was literally dissolved into dissolved as a company, dissolved as a subsidiary, and mushed together with Blizzard to work on the Diablo 2 remake as well as Call of Duty. So, you know, it was like well over 200 people in its own studio thing. So that was a whole thing back then when we first reported on it. I was looking at the IP list. I mean, let's go. Spencer told the Washington Post, King's Quest, Guitar Hero, this, but I think they got Hexen. So on the topic, like developers like Toys for Bob, Spencer said his team would talk to studios about working on games from Activision Blizzard's franchise history, hoping that we'll be able to work with them when the deal closes to make sure we have resources to work on franchises that I love for my childhood and that team was really want to get, Spencer continued. Looking forward to these conversations. I really think it's about adding resources and increasing capability. Aside from Crash, Guitar Hero, Tony Hawk, Activision also owns the rights to Skylanders, Spyro, True Crime, Blur, Singularity, and Geometry Wars, among others. They owned a lot of stuff, man. Fans of Crash Bandicoot and Tony Hawk games have been left in limbo as the studios behind the recent releases were reassigned to other work. Currently, all of Activision's many development studios are building bits of Call of Duty, such as Warzone additions to the recent Vanguard development on this year's Modern Warfare 2. Also, just as a little aside to this, there was another report that suggested that Activision was going to drop the yearly release of Call of Duty, which is honestly kind of big because they've been doing yearly releases, I think, basically since that series started. It's like what? Like a game every year for the past like 15 years, maybe even more. I don't even know. Like it must be more than that, maybe even 20. I don't know. But yeah, that's like a little aside to this. So Xbox is looking to revive old IPs that haven't been seen in the light of day in quite a while. So this is like an aside to like, okay, so this is what their plans are once the deal is closed. I guess I'll look at this one last before we move on. Yeah, so also, okay, so on top of all of this, you and you. Okay, so on top of the buyout, there's also just general reaction to the buyout. It was a very large surprise to many. So a lot of the employees were very surprised. Like the employees and stuff were very surprised about this. Nobody expected it. Following the news, Microsoft is acquiring Activision Blizzard. Employees have begun speaking out on social media. The ABK Workers Alliance, a group of employees pushing for workplace reform, yesterday stated that the news of the acquisition was surprising, but it did not change the goals of the ABK Workers Alliance, which is something else that I was going to talk about. The ABK Workers Alliance, which, as I said, is an alliance trying to reform the workplace. A group of actions of employees that have continued to push for major workplace reforms following last year's shocking reports detailing a culture of alleged sexual harassment, assault, and inappropriate behavior at the company. So they're planning on continuing with what they're doing, even though this buyout has happened, which is, I think, good because it means that no pressure has been lost. Like, even though this buyout is happening, they're still planning to go through with what they're doing, which will hopefully, make the workplace actually good instead of just it all disappearing under the radar again once Microsoft has bought it. Which, I'm not saying Microsoft would do that. I'm just saying there's a higher chance that something will be done about it if there's continued pressure, is all I'm saying. But yeah, moving forward to this, Since other Activision Blizzard employees have shared the view. So there is a lot of stuff to read here. A lot of like Twitter tweets and stuff about what they thought about this. The news action quizzes, blah, blah, blah. Much of Thursday info is focused on CEO Bobby Kotick comments on declining stock prices. In an interview with Games Beat, he claimed the stock prices decline was due to mainly delays, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's like a lot of overlap with most of the articles that I have listed. They're all talking about one or the other because literally this entire thing happened like within this week. It was ridiculous. What is it? I'm just kind of jumping from point to point because there's a lot to cover. But yeah, the employees force their opinions to give basically a general like whatever of what they're saying is like they're some of them are surprised, some of them are like obviously kind of happy about this, making jokes about making jokes about the acquisition. Some of them are just saying fuck Bobby Kotick, which is, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I just saying. But that's the general gist of that, their general reaction. They're also talking about a different article interview where Bobby Kotick was essentially throwing developers under the bus for the stock price drop, or the stock prices going down, because he was basically claiming that the delays for Overwatch and Diablo 4 were the cause of the stock prices drop, instead of, him being sued and all of the sexual harassment that he has been a part of, as well as the company. So he was basically throwing developers under the bus to cover his ass. An attempt to do that. Obviously, nobody fucking bought that. But yeah, that's the general gist. Lance, I already went over this, but ABK is obviously like continuing with what they're doing. Member abusers, this writing. Strike for Raven QA's 5th week, or striking, blah, blah, or not blah, blah. You get the idea. Like, they're continuing with what they have been doing. This is what I get for covering all of this. I'm basically covering like a year's worth of stuff right now. This is what I get for it. This is what I get for not covering it individually.
Well, do you want to go over the timeline or no?
It would help, but also like it's gonna take like an hour, man. This has been known for a long time, but the general, like, yes, Activision Blizzard, the ABK workers are still going through what they're doing. The strike is still ongoing. The removal of Bobby Kotick was, he's obviously, the removal of him is not going to happen because he will remain CEO until the handover occurs, which is next year. So that's out the window. But everything else they're trying to do, which is just improve, get rid of abusers, like report sexual harassment, trying to get rid of all of the people that caused this to happen in the first place. General like sweeping of cleaning out the closet, as it were. Like I was doing earlier. Really stupid. Also, hold on. Activision. Oh yeah. Rebuild trust. Like frustrated. Buyout. Okay, so this is the last like bit of this. So also Activision Blizzard has said that they where is it? Blizzard, the boss of Activision Blizzard has said that he has plans to rebuild trust in regards to everything that's happened. He's trying to rebuild trust and the image of his company. Our top priority now and in the future is the work we are doing to rebuild the trust in Blizzard. Managers and top brass of Blizzard will now see their success and play measured against creating a safe, inclusive, and creative work environment. Ybarra said, meanwhile, an upward feedback program will allow employees to evaluate management, which is interesting. Is that a first? I don't think that's a first, right? Like basically allowing employees to allowing employees to evaluate their management. Is that a thing that has existed in any business? I feel like it should, I feel like that's definitely something that should exist. If it didn't before, I don't know enough about business to know if that's a thing or not, but it certainly is now. The company has added a new full-time culture leader, a new HR leader, plus a new diversity and inclusion leader, tripled its compliance investigation teams, shared representative data, and set goals for improvement. Finally, Yerber concluded he was aware Blizzard needed to deliver content to our players on a more regular basis, blah, blah. They have more exciting things to announce. So they have plans. Sorry, I just read this quote again. One of the quotes from him is, 2021 was challenging for all of us. It's like, I'm sure it was. I'm definitely sure it was. In his first public message this year, as individuals, we care about treating everyone around us with respect and dignity. You get the idea. So yeah, so Blizzard is trying to rebuild the trust with the public as of what that's going on. Also, I said this before, but obviously, chat, conference, oh yeah, there was also a I talked about this already. Like Bobby Kotick, there was like a meeting where Bobby Kotick essentially failed to address any concerns or what's the word? He basically just didn't take credit for his crimes, is what I said, because the other words that I was trying to think of didn't come to mind. My role, yeah. As long as necessary to ensure that we have a great integration. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Sorry. So apparently he wants to stay as long as possible, even after the Microsoft thing. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen at all, hopefully. Yeah, okay. We already covered that. I need to go over that again. So I'll go over that one last. So also, the QA testers at Activision Blizzard's Raven Software has announced its intent to unionize. So they will start a union within their team, where strike action has been going since December following the firing of 12 members of the developers QA team, announced their intent to form a workers union incident, which came amid an already troublesome time for Blizzard mentioned, really criticized following the California state lawsuit calling a breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women. Took place in December, around blah blah, or around a third of the QA team was laid off. Yeah, so there's a lot of words here that I could read, which I probably should because it's my job, but they want to unionize. You know what that is, and they want to focus on equality and trying to not have abusers in their management. So that's that. So I also will say, this is actually very important because there isn't a union in the gaming industry. There aren't unions. That isn't a thing that exists. Developers, there aren't unions for developers or other people in the gaming industry. That's not a thing that has existed. So the fact that they want to create one, which as far as my knowledge base goes, will be the second union period as far as the North American gaming industry is concerned, which is not a great look for an industry, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, chime in whenever you feel like it. By the way, I'm talking a lot, but chime in whenever you feel like you want to talk about something.
I'm just one second. Is it Disney that's buying Activision?
No, it is Microsoft.
Microsoft that's buying Activision. Okay.
I mentioned Disney earlier because I likened Microsoft buying Activision to Disney buying Fox Entertainment.
It makes more sense for Microsoft to buy Activision.
It does, considering they're a gaming company.
Wow. I don't have much to say. I'm just like it's like Minecraft. It's like when Minecraft. How much is the purchase for?
Oh, I said at the beginning, it's almost $70 billion.
$70 billion. Okay.
Yeah, it was 6 points. Where is it?
Wow.
68.7 billion to be precise. Was the amount of money that Microsoft spent to buy, like you said, enough money to run a small country. It's ridiculous amount of money. But yeah, going back to the whole union thing, which is, like I said, unions don't really exist in the gaming sphere, so this is a good step in the right direction, and hopefully will become more commonplace, as the years go by. I feel like Activision Blizzard serves as a good stepping stone for future events at this point. Hopefully nothing like this will happen again, kind of thing. Where it's like everything has been revealed. The fact that this happened at all is ridiculous, which I suppose is a mild way of putting it. But yeah. They intend to unionize and continue their efforts in regards to equality. What's the term? Equality, making the workspace better. can't do words. Okay. We have one more bit of news regarding Activision, and this is not about the buyout. This is just a fun little quote that I want to talk about, which is the fact that at one point in time, Bobby Kotick mulled over the idea of literally buying Kotaku and PC Gamer, which are video game news websites. So Activision Blizzard controls boss Bobby Kotick recently considered acquiring video game websites such as Kotaku and PC Gamer, according to a new report. According to the Wall Street Journal and sources with knowledge of Activision Blizzard's recent plans, Kotick apparently suggested the idea to change the public narrative surrounding Activision Blizzard following the months of media coverage of the company's culture, history of sexual harassment and allegations, and subsequent employee protests. Activision has denied the report, while Kotaku owner Geo Media declined to comment, which I feel like basically confer. That's like they declined to comment. That means it's true, right? There's an awfully strong reaction to us given the last Call of Duty giving the last Call of Duty 60 global editor-in-chief of Gamer Lati told your Gamer response. The suggestion seems to be that Activision Blizzard wanted to make an acquisition which would give the media something new to chew over, rather than an outright attempt at purchasing media outlets which had previously published critical coverage. Still, the effect would likely be have been chilling. So let me just summarize that. So basically, Bobby Kotick,
you guys continue. I'm gonna go get some water.
Wanted to buy two gaming news sites so he could change the narrative of so he could basically just have only good things come out of him and Activision Blizzard, which is ridiculous. I'm out of water. I'm talking so much out of water. Yeah, so I feel like I shouldn't have to explain why that is genuinely horrifying and weird. Like the idea that literally the news sources we try and trust to give us correct news and sources about things that it's just, let's just buy them and tell them to only give out good news and nothing bad.
Aaron, it's almost as though that's what conspiracy theories think.
I mean, you're right, but
It's
also like,
almost as though there's like verifiable evidence that this happens with people that buy news companies. It's almost as if they have influence over those news companies that they buy. It's almost as if they use that influence.
I get it. I'm just saying, like, well, here's the thing. Like, I get
No,
it.
yeah.
I'm
No,
just saying.
I don't think it's like crazy nefarious. It's just like funny.
Well, I mean, it is kind of nefarious because it's basically like, I'm just
No.
going to change the narrative instead of admit to my crimes. You know?
Yeah.
Bobby Kotick is a fucking cyborg as far as I'm concerned. Like, I'm not, it's very strange. He's a very strange individual. Yeah, and people like to draw devil horns on him. I don't know why, though. I can't think of a single reason why they'd want to do that. Can't be because they think he's the devil. Anyways, but yeah, that was just like a little bit of after news in regards to that, which is kind of ridiculous. And I understand that like it probably does happen and has happened in other forms of like industry, the whole like paying off to give good news and what all, like it's not new, it's not a new concept, it's been around for ages, but the fact that it was reported on and was like even a thought process is kind of weird and scary in a way, you know. Anyways, anything to add? Because that's it for Activision Blizzard. that's it for all of that. We are officially done with that story. You know. So, anyways. Anything to add? Cool. Moving on. I mean, that's basically all of the news, with the exception of, I mean, I said it, so I need to talk about it. This is just going to be a short one. So, there was a report that detailed a crunch culture at TT Games, the studio behind Lego Star Wars. More than 20 TT staff, past and present, described working for bosses who reportedly expected their teams to crunch as part and parcel of game production ever since the studio's founding in 2005, which is pretty bad. Overtime was supposed to be voluntary and paid from the 2010, but from 2010 became mixed with the studio's capped flexi-time system that could not be cashed in for extra pay or time off in lieu. Staff were also pressured into crunch. Some said it was a very soft-spoken blackmail. One person described as staff were told not to leave early or let down others. Several staff said 80 to 100-hour work weeks were not uncommon during crunch periods. As with elsewhere, conditions were worse for QA staff, particularly one. That's a QA staff member accidentally leaked a Wii U gamepad prior to the console launch. After this, QA staff required permission to visit other areas of the building. Games pay everyone's thing. Lego Star Wars, which has now been in development for almost 5 years. Staff say the game's production has been hampered by bosses' insistence, who was made on a new and buggy internal engine at the studio rather than more commonly used Unreal. The frequent addition and the removal of features such as a God of War or style combat system meant work was thrown out, while studio bosses pushed staff harder to hit a potential 85 Metascore critic, which would be the developer's best yet. 40 staff are reported to have left TT Games in the past 12 months, around 10% of its 400-strong workforce. The report suggested improvements have taken place more recently after crisis meetings during Skywalker Saga's development. Staff were given more holidays and a better year-end bonus. Several senior staff have also now departed. The audio studio's much-hated internal engine will finally be ditched for its next project, and Unreal used instead. Staff overtime as of the last few months has been better paid attention to and limited. TT Games is committed to creating a respectful, fair, and inclusive workplace for every employee. The developer said in a statement responding to the report, there have been many efforts in recent years with the new studio leadership and the support of Warner Brothers Games to nurture a collaborative culture and work-life balance. Employees can be proud. Just going into weird accents now. Like delighted fans with games. Yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, that was just like a minor piece of news. So yeah, so that came out. it appears that some stuff is being done to make it right, but that's pretty bad, especially for a Lego game company. I'm pretty sure they've made other stuff, but Lego is basically their one major thing. I feel like you shouldn't have to put in 100-hour work weeks for a fucking Lego video game for children. That's just me though. Yeah. Anyways, so that's unless you have something else to comment on or talk about, that's basically the end of the news. Like I said, there was a lot to cover. The major being obviously Activision Blizzard's Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which, like I said, will not go through until next year. So, you know, I hope none of that was boring, because holy shit, that was a lot to talk about. Yeah, so so that is the end of the news. Jeez. So yeah, nothing else to comment on or talk about? All right. Good to know. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. I went over all of it, so I don't feel like I need to talk any more about it, but just to give a general consensus, it's all a big thing. I guess I should. I wouldn't have been in this predicament had I covered all of the news over the last year and a half. I think it was a year and a half. It's been going on a while, so you know. But here we are, anyways. Anyways, Jesus Christ, I can't stop saying anyways. I'm sure everybody is clicked off by now because of my meandering tone. But yeah, that's the news. We're just gonna hard cut to shameless self-promotion because we have no good segue at this point. Yeah, shameless self-promotion, the part of the show where we shamelessly self-promote ourselves. Shelf promote our felv. Matthew, I really need to come up with a better segue into this segment because it's just really jarring sometimes. But yeah, Matthew, what have you got coming up this week? And what have you got coming up this week? Where can people find you? All that good stuff.
I might try streaming on YouTube with like the game creation stuff, just to do something while just like have it running, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably talk during it, but that's not the point.
Right.
See what that's like.
All right.
Work on a Pokemon game.
Is that and people can find you
on either Mystical Meandering or Thologram. Those are the two channels that'll probably one of them. Probably Thologram.
All right then. Devin, what have you got coming up this week, and where can people find you?
Well, I'm going to try to get another 50 kills in a game. I'm going to try to go for 100 kills, which is silly.
It kind of is.
I think I'm just going to go for 50 kills like every day. And I'll just jump on Minecraft for, I don't know, an hour, half an hour, however long it takes. I'll get 50 kills in a game and then I'll stop, and that'll be the video. Although I might need to make it lower than that. But I found that playing Bed Wars is not as interesting unless there's a challenge I'm doing. And so
all right.
Hopefully every day for the next week, I'll be uploading a video where I'd get 50 kills in a game. And does that sound interesting? I don't know.
I don't know. I there's probably an audience for that.
I've got some magic videos. I'm about to be okay. That's a personal thing. I'm going to be doing something in person, hosting a tournament, and I'm going to be making a video A about the tournament and B about the 5-cap format, and that'll be found on Bean's Budget Brewery.
All right.
And I think that's all.
Wait, is that a new name or a new channel?
It's the new channel.
Okay.
Already it had more subscribers than it had been around for days. So like within the first few days, it had 18 subscribers, and then it got 30 something, and now it has like 41 or something. It's a crazy.
Good. Cool.
Nice.
Magic is a
it's
nice
good idea.
thing.
Yeah, magic succeeds. Ha ha ha.
Video
Apparently.
games do not, apparently.
Well, long form content. I make 2-minute videos, Aaron.
Right.
We should look at your analytics to see what the watch time looks like on these videos. We can actually see though.
I know I can see it.
I know we can see if the watch time has hit an hour or not.
I don't think so. Maybe
Total
it has.
channel watch time. Total channel watch time.
Oh, total channel.
Total channel watch time.
Probably reached an hour. I don't know.
We have probably reached more than an hour, I'm sure. Okay.
I don't know. That was. Is that all you're doing?
That's all I'm doing. I mean, that's really all I'm doing. I'm actually focused for once.
That's a first.
I don't even have time to get on Minecraft on our server and finish the golem farms.
I see.
I'd probably do that at some point.
And just to make sure we're going through this correctly, people can find you where exactly?
People can find me at DevMoff. No, just kidding. You can find me at Bean the Builder or Bean's Budget Brewery.
Okay. And those are
or
the
some
two...
other places.
Well, yeah, all the other places.
Or DevMafu Gaming, or You Think What, or Blingden, or what I'm starting to forget them, or Evan the Magic Nerd, or
So I've been reading an encyclopedia.
Or so I've been reading an encyclopedia.
Uh-huh.
That's it. You can find me in those places. I'm 99% sure there's one that I forgot, but that's fine.
Probably, man. I don't even know. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. My brain just cycled back to the beginning of the podcast, and I was like, oh, so that's what we've been up to, huh? That's what you've been up to? That's interesting. Okay, so that's what you have coming up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Moving on to me. What have I got coming up? Well, nothing, I guess. I mean, the podcast will continue to be recorded and uploaded as per usual. Hopefully there won't be any interruptions. Honestly, hopefully there won't be any interruptions. The news we'll be covering, obviously, is just what I decide is worth covering. You know, you can find me at Gaming the Discussion or GTD Podcast on SoundCloud and YouTube, depending on where you are. You know, if you're watching this on the thing that I said, then you're already there. Good job. You can also find me on Twitter, even though I don't use it. I don't know. Maybe I'll start using it if people go to it. If I have a substantial follower base, maybe I'll start using Twitter. Who knows? Yeah, and like I said, aside from the one movie-related thing with Max, and I don't know, I have some other like random things I've been thinking about recently that I might end up going for. We'll see. I'm a little distracted by a lot of things at the moment, so you know. I'm distracted by playing video games and making a D&D campaign and fixing my house and playing with cats and, you know, time. Anyways, but that's basically it for me. So that was shameless self-promotion. Thank you all so much for watching. I really wish there was a better segue between these last three segments, because holy shit is it jarring. And welcome to the end of the podcast. Thank you all so much. And that has been GT Podcast. Wait, is this episode 40? I think this is episode 40. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed this two-hour romp through fucking God knows what. And I hope you enjoyed what we talked about and all of that stuff. I'm getting worse at this. But yeah. Do all that cool. Share this with your friends if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Share it with your enemies. if you want to. If you like it, share it with your enemies. Or no, if you like it, share it with your friends. If you dislike it, share it with your enemies, and hopefully they'll like it. So, either way. Also, the dislike button is gone, so never mind. Thank you all so much. Thanks for watching. Can I get a belated goodbye?
Yes,
before we just end
goodbye.
this thing.
Bye. Not
Bye.
exactly belated, but yeah.
Less belated. Bye-bye.
All right, wait. I need to give a belated goodbye. Bye.
Thank you for the awkward goodbye. See you all next.